Another edition of Beat the Closing Number presented by TheLines.com. My name is Eli Herskovich with The Lines MLB analyst Mo Nawara breaking down the slate for Wednesday, June 28th. Mo, let's get into it with Astros at Cardinals. 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time first pitch. The Cardinals as high as minus 120 favorites over at BetMGM and as low as minus 115 over at Caesars Sportsbook. Remember to price shop the latest odds over at TheLines.com. It is Miles Mikolas going up against Christian Javier, who has just a 1.9% strikeout to walk rate over his last 5 starts. And the Astros looking to bounce back after St. Louis took the first game of this series last night behind Jordan Montgomery, who allowed just 1 earned run in 6 2/3 innings pitched. What happens in round 2 tonight in your eyes?
Hopefully the Astros take this one. They let me down yesterday. And yeah, Christian Javier has not been pitching well. Mets and Guardians both got to him in the last few games. I feel like he's not at his best right now and really hasn't been at his best all year. But, man, I just got to say this is a great matchup for Javier. So I'm back on the Astros. The Cardinals, we talked about before how they struggle against four-seamers. Hard stuff has been a bit tougher on them. Javier throws 60% fastballs. And, yeah, the Cardinals' bottom 10 team against fastballs. And also, I've talked before about his left-right splits. He's got some of the biggest splits you'll find in a starter. The Cardinals lineup, they do have 3 lefties plus Tommy Edman, who's a switch hitter in the projected lineup, but it's mostly their less threatening hitters, especially Tommy Edman. He's basically a free out hitting left-handed. So I think it's a really good spot for Javier, even though he hasn't been at his best. I have him about a run better than Miles Mikolas in this matchup. Mikolas has really struggled this year. He looks like maybe a below-average starter at this point. I thought Jose Altuve would be back on Tuesday, but he wasn't. So I'm hoping he's back today. I mean, he had multiple days off now in a row, so that would obviously help the cause here. But the initial line movement has been towards St. Louis a little bit, so a little bit concerning in the early going. You could get up plus 105 now, I believe, when I got plus 100.
And over to the second game, White Sox at Angels, 9:38 p.m. Eastern Time, first pitch, pretty specific. LA, about a minus 125 favorite on the money line across the board. It is Jaime Barria going up against Lucas Giolito after LA took the first 2 games in this series. And Chicago actually had the bases loaded in the 9th last night. I know you were back in LA, so maybe sweating a bit with Estevez on the mound, the Angels closer. Down 2, and they failed to score any more runs with a strikeout and a double play. So what do you expect tonight in the third game of this series?
Hopefully more of the same since I'm on the Angels again. The White Sox, I talked about yesterday in my article because we didn't tackle this one in the video, but they've been really, really rough against right-handed sliders. So yeah, that's going to be a problem against Barria. He's 50% sliders this year. Like, he's really changed the way he's pitched. And, it should work well against the White Sox, who have struggled even at just a general against right-handed pitching, but definitely the slider-heavy approach of Barria, it's working for him. I don't know if it's going to keep going low 2s ERA like he's been. He's been in the 2s, I think, each of the last 2 years, 125 innings pitched. So not the smallest sample in the world. And getting some weak contact with an 85 mile per hour exit velocity this year. And I mean, throwing 50% sliders works if you can get them into the zone when you need to. And he is. Like, his called strike rate has been the best of his career. So it's working out for him. And I think the biggest sweat is going to be what the Angels roll out into their lineup, for one thing. I definitely talked about how I wanted to see the likes of not Chad Wallach and Luis Rengifo, and then they were both in there, although Rengifo ripped a key triple yesterday. But also seeing Mike Moustakas in the lineup, he was pathetic yesterday. no Mike Trout, so they kind of rolled out a clown lineup. It wasn't good for my bet, but ended up working out for me. I'm hoping we get Trout back in there, and honestly, I'd rather just have Eduardo Escobar at this point in there than Mike Moustakas, but I don't know. They might be planning on platooning them, so overall, just Angels much better lineup against right-handed pitching. Pretty similar talent in terms of the pitchers on the mound. So with home field, I had the Angels a little bit of a bigger favorite. I am wondering if Estevez, speaking of the Angels pen, is going to be available for this one. He did pitch each of the first 2 games since the Angels won 2 close ones. But one of them was a 5-pitch outing. So I'm hoping he's available because this Angels pen is very, very thin.
And just one quick note on the White Sox starter, Lucas Giolito, who we brought up last Friday because he was going up against Brian Bayo of the Red Sox. Giolito averaging 7.5 strikeouts per outing over his last 4 starts, and his strikeout prop is sitting at 6.5, albeit juiced towards the under. Minus 141 is what you would be paying for the under if you're looking to bet under Giolito strikeouts. Over would obviously be plus money at Caesars Sportsbook. So that'll do it for this edition of Beat the Closing Number presented by thelines.com. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and ring the bell to get notifications whenever the Lines releases a new sports betting video on any market, including Mo's day-to-day MLB bets, which can be found in real time in the Lines Discord channel. The link is over at thelines.com in the top right-hand corner. And you can also head over to play.thelines.com for your chance to win a $25 Amazon gift card in our daily MLB Pick'em contest. Remember, that's over at play.thelines.com. For Mo and for myself, Eli Herskovich, thanks for watching and listening to another edition of Beat the Closing Number. So long, everybody.